Welcome back, everyone. I am so thrilled you're joining me for today's explainer. We're looking at a truly fascinating text from the Majjhima Nikāya called the Vatthupama Sutta, which translates to the simile of the cloth. Okay, let's just dive right into this, because this text gives us one of the absolute most practical, strikingly visual frameworks you'll ever find for understanding how to clean up our own minds.
Right off the bat, I want you to picture something. If you take a thoroughly stained, just totally dirty cloth, and you dip it into a vat of beautiful, vibrant dye, whether it's a rich blue, a bright yellow, or a deep red, what happens to the color? Does the cloth come out looking brilliant and brand new? No, of course not. It comes out looking muddy, impure, and pretty much ruined. The dye takes badly simply because the cloth itself wasn't clean to begin with. And this simple, undeniable physical truth is the core visual metaphor for our entire explainer today. The Buddha uses this exact physical reality to explain the state of human consciousness. A stained and dirty cloth takes dye badly, which perfectly represents a defiled mind. The text actually tells us that when the mind is defiled like that, an unhappy destination is pretty much to be expected. But contrast that with a clean, bright cloth. It takes the dye beautifully and stays completely pure in color. In exactly the same way, when the mind is undefiled and clean, a happy destination is expected. It's a flawless metaphor. But naturally, that immediately raises the big question. What exactly is the dirt on our minds?
Let's get into Section 1, Stains on the Mind. Now, you can't exactly wash away dirt if you have no clue what kind of dirt you're dealing with. But before we list out those specific stains, there is this remarkably empowering detail from the commentary on this text that we absolutely have to look at. The commentary explains that the mind isn't originally dirty. It notes that if a cloth is just naturally black, like, say, a black goat's fur, well, you can scrub it all day long and it will literally never turn white. Your effort is totally in vain. But here's the thing. Our minds aren't like goat's fur. The mind originally is pure and luminous. The stains are adventitious, meaning they actually come from the outside. That means your effort to wash them is absolutely not in vain. The dirt can be removed. So what is this outside dirt? The text breaks down the dirt into 16 specific defilements of the mind. We start with covetousness and unrighteous greed, which the commentary points out is listed first because a lust for existence is usually the very first defilement to pop up. Then we have ill will, anger, hostility, denigration, which basically means having contempt for others, domineering, envy, and jealousy. Looking at this list, it's incredibly relatable, isn't it? Like, these aren't some abstract, mystical concepts. These are the very real, messy human emotions we all navigate every single day. Rounding out the rest of the list, we add hypocrisy, fraud, obstinacy, presumption, conceit, arrogance, vanity, and finally, negligence, which often just shows up as a total lack of consideration for other people. The text states that a practitioner has to first simply know these defilements for what they are. Just recognizing, hey, I am feeling pretty arrogant right now, or wow, this is my own obstinacy, is the absolutely crucial first step to abandoning them. You have to spot the stain on the fabric before you can even think about treating it. Which brings us to Section 2, the washing process. So we know the mind is capable of being washed, but how does that washing process actually begin? Well, according to the text, as someone starts to successfully give up and abandon these stains, even just a little bit, something really powerful happens. They gain what's called unwavering confidence. Think about it. You try dropping your envy or your anger, and you instantly notice your mind feels lighter. That direct personal experience transforms your initial, maybe kind of shaky trust into an unshakable, immutable confidence in three things: the Buddha as the incomparable guide, the Dhamma as the teaching with immediate results, and the Sangha as the true community. This confidence literally becomes the bedrock for what happens next. And this perfectly sets up what I absolutely love calling a psychological cascade. When you realize you've successfully abandoned some of those heavy mental stains, you naturally feel this enthusiasm, a real gladness. When you are gladdened, a deeper joy or rapture is born inside you. When your mind is joyous, your physical body actually becomes tranquil. You stop fidgeting. That deep-seated unrest just settles. With a tranquil body, you feel profound happiness. And the mind of someone who is truly happy naturally becomes concentrated. It's an effortless chain reaction. You don't have to force concentration. It simply arrives on its own when the mind is clean and happy. Moving right along to Section 3, the dyed cloth. All right, so the crucial point here is that we now have a perfectly washed, bright, and highly concentrated mind. With our cloth perfectly washed, it's finally time to dip it into the dye. The text introduces 4 states, known as the divine abidings. The first dye is loving kindness. But notice the immense scale of this concept. This isn't just, wishing your friend a good day. This is suffusing one direction of the world, then a second, a third, a fourth, above, below, everywhere, to all as to oneself. It's a full 360-degree radiation of a mind grown great, lofty, boundless, and totally free from enmity. The clean cloth soaks us up entirely. Next up, the second dye is compassion. Having cleared away those ugly stains of ill will and anger we listed earlier, the mind naturally holds a boundless empathy for the suffering of all beings in the entire universe. Then we have sympathetic joy. Think back to stains number 7 and 8, envy and jealousy. Once those are scrubbed completely out of the fabric of your mind, the natural replacement for them is sympathetic joy. It's that amazing ability to genuinely rejoice in the successes and good fortune of others, and you just radiate that celebratory energy in absolutely every direction. And finally, the ultimate pure color the mind can absorb is equanimity. It's a profound, completely unshakable state of balance and peace, spread to all as to oneself. No matter what is going crazy in the external world, the mind remains perfectly steady, boundless, and totally free from ill will. When the practitioner actually sees and understands reality with this perfectly dyed, concentrated mind, they reach the ultimate realization. Their mind becomes completely liberated from the deep-seated cankers of sensual desire, the desire for becoming, and fundamental ignorance. At this stage, they just know, birth is exhausted, the life of purity has been lived, the task is done, there is no more of this to come. They are fully awakened. And that leads us to our final part, Section 4, the inner bath. Now, right at this climactic moment in the text, where this ultimate liberation is described, we get a totally unexpected narrative twist. Sitting not too far from the Buddha was a Brahmin named Sundarika Bharadvaja. He's been listening to this incredibly deep psychological teaching about cleaning the mind, but he literally interrupts to ask, but does Master Gotama go to the Bahuka River to bathe? You see, this Brahmin, like a lot of people in his time, fully believed that physical rivers gave you purification. He thought you could literally wash away your evil deeds just by splashing around in a secret river. The Buddha responds to this idea of an external ritual with a striking, really poetic rebuttal. He lists out all the famous sacred rivers, the Bahuka, the Gaya, the Payaga, and he says, "A fool may there forever bathe, yet will not purify his black deeds." What can the Payaga and the Bahuka do? They cannot purify an evildoer, a man performing brutal and cruel acts. It is a massive reality check. External shortcuts simply cannot fix internal defilements. There's just no way. So if you don't go jump in a river, what exactly do you do? Well, the Buddha offers the Brahmin what he calls the true feast of cleansing. He tells him to speak no untruth, work no harm for breathing things, take not what is not offered, and have faith and no avarice. These are concrete, everyday moral actions. He basically tells the Brahmin, look, if you act this way, any well you draw water from will be just as sacred as the Gaya River. Your purification comes from how you behave and how you actually train your mind, not from where you go swimming. And honestly, this brings us to the absolute core takeaway from our explainer today. The commentary makes it explicitly clear that the ultimate inner bath the Buddha is talking about isn't water at all. It is the practice of the Noble Eightfold Path. True purification is a psychological, moral, and deeply internal journey. It's all about meticulously recognizing your own mental stains, abandoning them, and letting the ensuing joy concentrate your mind so you can literally suffuse the world with loving kindness. Which leaves us with one final provocative thought to chew on. It is so easy to look for external quick fixes for our internal unrest. Whether that's an actual river, downloading a new mindfulness app, going on a vacation, or honestly just pointing fingers at other people. But the stains are on our cloth. So I leave you with this. Are you trying to wash away your stains in a river, or are you truly ready for the inner bath? Think about that as you go about your day. Thank you so much for exploring this profound text with me, and I absolutely cannot wait to dive into our next topic together.